Good afternoon, reefers. Just want to give a little 3-month update on my Waterbox Frag 85.3. Just following on from the last video really, there's not too much that's been going on, so my tank parameters are currently pH is 8.2, my alkalinity is 10, and my nitrates are between 5 and 10. My calcium is 390, and my magnesium is 1350, and my phosphate is 0.003, or there or thereabouts. So my parameters in terms of dosing, I do need to step onto the sort of Red Sea 4-part dosing. That will be coming. It was supposed to be this month. However, my pet cat, who's an indoor cat, he's a Bengal, he's been a bit ill the last sort of couple of weeks, and he's been in the vets a couple of times, and he's obviously he's had to fork out a fair bit of money getting him treated. So at the moment, as I said, everything on this tank has just sort of took a bit of a back turn really. I did have to buy some more salt, so I'm still using Red Sea's black bucket, which is the Coral Pro. Never had an issue with it. It mixes really well. I can literally get it mixed in the tank. It's mainly waiting for the temperature, so it mixes really quick, and I normally wait for it to come up to about 24 C, and then I start putting it back in. But while that's sort of warming up and mixing, that's when I tend to do my maintenance anyway, so just the usual glass cleaning, and I did all that yesterday. There's not too much going else. I'll do a little walk through the tank in a moment, and I've got there's a slight, I don't know if you call it a pest, but there is something going on in this tank now, and I'm not 100% sure of what it is, but I'll show you that when I get a bit closer in a moment. But fish are all doing really well, so the blue tang is completely settled in, and just going on from the last video really, I've had absolutely no problems. These three are all getting on, and I'm really happy. She does look like she's grown a little bit. She looks bigger on camera than what she looks when you actually look at the tank, and the same for the sailfin really. They all look bigger in the video than what they look when you sort of here in person. But as you can see, you know, they're always out. All three of them are always out now. There's no sort of you know, hiding. They all dart off, and they'll sort of hunker down a bit when you get close to the tank to do any maintenance and such alike. But on the whole, really good. Damsels doing okay. They still bicker between themselves, and yeah, corals all doing really well. The Kenya tree is sort of you know, goes bigger, smaller. It's quite sensitive to changes. I notice if you do any kind of maintenance, or if you just the water change itself, as soon as you start pumping the new water from the sump up into the display, it tends to sort of close down a bit and shut itself away for a good sort of half an hour, and then it sort of comes back out again. So more sensitive than what I would have imagined, but as I said, it's still doing good. But as you can see, the fish are just you know, really good. So I've still got my DD lens on at the moment. As I said, it's not quite that blue in person. It's definitely more of a whiter spectrum than that. But as I said, with the DD lens on, it does make it look a bit better for filming. So I'll take you off and go a little bit closer, and we'll have a look at some of the corals. But as I said, it's tank's still running really well, and as I said, the fish fish are all doing really good. So these mushrooms, which was the sort of latest one, they're doing really well. So they look pretty big, and they do look pretty nice. They've got a nice orange sort of tint on them. So again, they're really good. The candy canes are sort of splitting again, really. So we went from 2 heads to 4. It looks like we're now going to sort of 2 at the back, 2 at the front, and 2 at the bottom. So as I said, they're doing pretty well. The Zoa colony at the back there, that's getting a little bit bigger, and we've still got the coralline algae on that plug down there. Not really seeing it anywhere else yet in the tank, to be honest with you, but yeah, it's I'm sure it will eventually spread at some point. This Zoa, 2 Zoas over here, so the orange one is definitely spreading now on the rock work. So I mean, given the parameters, you know, the calcium's starting to drop, because obviously it's being utilized by some of the growth. So bearing in mind, parameters at the minute aren't exactly where you'd want them to be, especially for calcium, but as I said, there's still growth going on regardless. I've still got a random Zoa Frag at the back there, which when I moved some of the rock work around, I just ended up leaving that. I couldn't really be bothered to take it off, but it's still there. It's not exactly a massive. Kenya tree, again, that's just on an old conch snail shell. That's doing okay. Lovely and green, like it's like a real fluorescent green. It does look a lot more blue in person, and this is still doing really good down here. And yep, all the rock work, like these 2 bits at the back, they were the sort of new bits of the Carib Sea life rock that went in, and they're pretty much now identical to the rest of the rock work. And then getting on to the sort of one thing I have noticed is these little white, they're almost like tentacles really. So I've noticed them more in the sandwork, but I've noticed them on a couple of the bottom of the rocks. So there's like a couple there you can see, just over at this sand bed here at the very bottom, where that sort of cove is. You can see some in there, and there's also a tiny little bit just at the base of that mushroom plate. So I'm not 100% sure what these are. I think there's also a little bit just underneath that rock there. So they are sort of white. They almost look like little worms. Someone did say possibly it might be tube worms, but when you try and look for this sort of stuff online, you don't really see something that looks exactly the same as what these are. So I'm not entirely sure. I have took some out manually. I've sort of got rid of some myself, and I've took some of the stuff out of the sand bed, but again, not 100% sure what they are. So if anyone watching knows what they are, you know, give us a shout and let us know what they are. But as you can see, the tank's still looking really nice. Still really happy with the tank. Love the dimensions of it. So being, you know, 2 foot deep, 3 foot wide, and being a frag tank. I just love the fact I can come up to this, and it's just so easy to get in for maintenance. But the outflow, they could do with a bit of a clean. But yeah, it's all in all, it's all running okay. I'm not planning on doing any more corals for the meantime. I have got a show to go to in September, excuse me, which is Aqua, and I'm hoping there's quite a few coral sellers that are going to be there now. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to pick up quite a few frags, and at that time anyway, because it's in September. I should already be dosing at that point on Red Sea's 4-part dosing so it should, you know, by the time those frags go in, the tank parameters should be a lot better, and should, you know, those frags should really just go in and start hit the ground running really. But we'll see. Looking forward to that show. I think there's quite a few UK YouTubers gonna be in attendance, so that'd be quite nice to see a few of them. But yeah, it's generally, I think this sort of time of year everything goes a little bit quiet here in the UK, but I'm still see the odd video from fellow hobbyists that I follow on YouTube, so it's you know, I still find it enjoyable even in the warmer months. We did have some higher temperatures here probably a couple of weeks ago, but this tank didn't really go more than a degree warmer. Just didn't have any issues, didn't have to run any extra fans, didn't have to do anything. It's just, you know, it was 26.2 I think the tank was sitting at when we had the little bit of heat wave, so that's absolutely fine in my opinion. I didn't really have any concern to panic. But yeah, so no plans for corals at the moment, and fish stock, not really got any plans in the next few weeks really. I still need to try and get a pair of clowns. That's something I do want to try and source, but it's just waiting for the right two to come up really. And main thing for this tank is just to get onto the dosing now. That's sort of the main priority really. But everything else is running fine. Everything's doing really well, and it's just nice to, as I said, it's you could say it's a slightly semi-aggressive tank, you know, with the fish stock in here, but it's not too bad. I don't like too much aggression because excuse me, it can be quite stressful to watch if ever you've had aggressive fish. But these three have been really good, so can't complain. But I'll do an update in another few weeks, and hopefully we'll have some news on the dosing, and I'll see if I can get to the bottom of what these little white worms are, whether they turn out to be tube worms or not. We'll have a look. But thanks for watching, and happy reefing. See you all again soon.